Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News, where we rate AI developments essential, important, or optional. Please follow along. The articles that we're going to review are at gaiinsights.com/articles. And please let us know what you think. Today, I have John, Ankaj, Paul, and here Ashish is Ashish Bhatia from AWS joining us. He just battled traffic and arrived at his destination. Welcome, Ashish.
Thank you, Luda. Pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. Okay, let's start with the first article, Ankaj.
Thanks, Luda. So the first one that we have for today comes from OpenAI, and they have introduced lockdown mode and elevated risk labels in ChatGPT.
Yeah, a special announcement from OpenAI focused on security and new features. What did you think, John?
Yeah, I was going to give this an essential. Here we get the leading, and it's a product announcement, but we have the leading vendor dealing with the one of the huge issues about security, and the more we get, the trade-off against the counterweight to all the power of agents really has to do with how secure things can be, and so they've got this new thing of lockdown mode, and they also put they start to flag which of the kind of capabilities that they're offering to the user, which are the ones that are going to be more potentially dangerous and so forth. So, and they've launched this now. If we could look at the article and just see they have a nice little graphic about what lockdown mode is, and then so I think it's above this, maybe. I don't know. I forget where the graphic is in the article.
It's in the middle. It's a lockdown mode.
Yeah, there we go. So this notion of access to other files and how lockdown mode is going to make it harder for people to do things like prompt injection. So I was going to give it an essential. I think it's critical for our AI leader to understand that this is a new security layer in the most popular model out there.
Okay, thanks, John. Essential from John. Ashish, what did you think about this one?
I was between optional to important, leaning towards optional. I feel it is the natural kind of journey of any new offering, especially when they're entering into the enterprise space. They have to go through governance checks and control for IT. A lot of this is to have control in the IT organization. Decision makers probably can't do much with it, right? So it is more control for your IT organization to make sure everything is governed and managed properly. If you're already on this platform, this is just a small add-on and also product announcement.
Yeah. Okay. Optional from Ashish. Paul.
In general, on optional product announcements, I'm actually with John, and this one is essential. We know, obviously, working dozens of AI leaders, many companies are trying to decide between Copilot and ChatGPT for the secure employee chatbot. AI leaders can't be flat-footed and not know this, and this is a good piece of evidence. I'm actually forwarding it to customers. One of them is a sophisticated financial services firm, and they're pushing so hard on rolling out ChatGPT that they didn't even know there was prompt injection risk. So we had to work with them to get their CISO involved here. So just to be aware, and because it's so high profile, I had as essential.
Okay. Ankaj, you have the deciding vote.
I was important on this one, Luda. Yeah, I agree with John and Paul because of the reach of ChatGPT, right? Close to 1 billion users now, and plenty of enterprises using it. So this new security feature will be useful for them. And as more and more enterprises, they start to use these agents, they need to know what can go wrong with them and what are the measures that they can take to stop those things from going wrong. So for that reason, I was important on this one, not essential, but important.
Yeah, I was actually optional to maybe important. I'm actually with Ashish. So let's go important on this one, because Ashish is right, and that it would not be as visible. So elevating it to important is good, and it doesn't apply to the regular users. It's only enterprise versions, I think, for now. Okay, so important it is. Let's proceed to the next one.
Okay, the next one comes from New York Times, and it is titled "What French Romance Novels Can Tell Us About AI and Translation Jobs."
Yes, remembering translation of my book into a number of languages. This is interesting. What did you think about this, Ashish?
This is fascinating. I had somehow this preconceived notion that most of the translation jobs are kind of times of past. In my time at Nokia, we used to kind of deliver phones across the world, rest of the world. And a huge chunk of that cost used to be localization of text in different languages for different regions and kind of making sure it's compliant and all of that. In new software that we're releasing, none of that kind of time-wise and cost-wise cycle exists because a lot of that translation is just automatic and machine-driven. This is kind of still fascinating how jobs are changing, nature of the jobs are changing. Some of the high-quality translation work is still done by humans, more so humans in the loop. But fundamentally, this kind of job profile would not exist like in future, right? At least how translation used to be done purely by humans. The reason I thought this was important is we can transpose this idea, this concept, or this kind of reading on the wall, that it can impact other job functions as well, job profiles as well in different industries. Again, this is translation is generally tip of the spear in terms of what machines can do. So that's why I thought it is an important article. You can easily kind of correlate it with your own job function.
Interesting. So, Ashish, my own experience, they translated my book into, Prentice Hall translated my book into Russian. This is my native language. And when I opened it, my hair stood up. It was so bad. It just was really not bad, not good. And so I essentially rewrote the book in Russian. And then until later, they got a good translator who actually helped me in making it more Russian, right? So good translators are not going away. It is not something that is easily taught to models. It will get there, but not immediately, I don't think.
So Luda, you wrote your book in English?
Yes. Okay. So what did you think about this one, John?
Yeah, I had this as optional. I'm not sure I agree with you, Luda. I think there's a lot of translation that is important, and there's a lot that's perfunctory. And I would say that the perfunctory translation is going to get automated.
Totally.
So,
Agree with that.
And I think that's going to be most of the demand for translators. So
yeah, it's the emotional, the lingo, the specialization. It's edge cases.
Well, yeah, no. You do business in Canada. Everything has to be in 2 languages.
Yeah, true.
You know,
Okay, so Ankash, what was your thinking here?
Optional for me, Luda.
Okay, Paul, we're going optional.
Great.
Despite Ashish. Ashish, we're going optional. Can live with that?
That's okay. Yeah, I can live with that.
Optional. Let's proceed to the next one.
Okay, the next one comes from Quinn, and they have launched Quinn 3.5 towards native multimodal agents.
Yes, a powerful model from Quen. Ankash, please tell us what it is and how you rated it.
Luda. So this Quinn 3.5, this is a new model, a bigger model. It's multi-model. It's trained for agentic workflows. So we have seen this becoming a trend now, where every new model that is being released is now trained for agentic AI. They are claiming that it's 60% cheaper and has 8x better. Is 8x better at processing large workloads than its previous version. So those are, I think, good updates to this particular model. But I was maybe between important and optional, Luda, because optional because we have seen three other models released just in the last few days, which are of similar quality. But I was leaning slightly towards important because Quinn is one model which is being used in American enterprises, right, compared to all the other models that have been released by the different Chinese firms. So just between optional and important for this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hear many people use it as LLM as a job in many places. Okay, Ashish, what did you think?
I was between optional and important as well, kind of leaning towards optional. I use Quinn models myself in my open class setup as local models, smaller models, 3 billion and 7 billion models. So again, it definitely has the mind space for people who want to use open models. So it's interesting for folks who are on the lookout for open models.
And it's pushing now, it's pretty much in performance-wise.
Yes.
The performance is quite good.
Yeah.
And it's a longer context window. John, what do you think?
I had it as important, really performant model, from a major provider. Cost reduction is going to continue, not essential, but, worthwhile.
Yeah, it provides an option. Paul, we're going important.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Important it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one again about a new model called Link 2.5 1 trillion parameter model, and this one comes from Inclusion AI.
Yeah, Inclusion AI is, I think, within Ants Group, and this is
And
the
to-
Ant Group, and this is a Chinese payment infrastructure folks that are quite wealthy. They didn't go public when they tried, but they quite well funded and profitable. So, and this is the 2.5 model. John, what did you think about this one? John, you must be on mute. Go ahead. Okay, so maybe Ankaj, what did you think about this model?
So Luda, this model again a Chinese release, right? It's a big model, 1 trillion total parameters, but 63 billion active parameters at any point in time. And they are trying to open source this one. So we have seen previous set of models from Inclusion AI as well. They have been trying to make space for themselves in the crowded Chinese LLM space. So they have been releasing these bigger set of models. They had previously launched reasoning models as well. But this news particularly, I think, is an optional news because we haven't seen much adoption of their models, at least from a US perspective. And overall as well, if you look at the Chinese market and some of the comparisons between models in there, they are still, I would say, they are in the top 10, but they are as 9th or 10th position. So for that reason, maybe an optional news for our AI leaders.
Yeah, I was also optional. It's a performant model with a long context window, but if compare with Quen, it's this one is not as performant. So you probably, if you are out there for open models, looking for open models, you probably wouldn't select this one.
Yeah.
What did you think, Ashish?
I was
Ashish, right? Ashish, sorry.
Yeah, I was optional to it, Luda.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry in the beginning there, I was in window hell. I couldn't find how to unmute myself. I was optional as well. Interesting new model, everyday miracle.
All right. Paul, optional we go. Okay.
Yeah, and I just think that it continues to shows AI leader. I mean, there's 10 or 12 open weight and closed models that are just continue to battle out every single day. You're going to have another one half inch. So you need an architect model switchability, but you can't be reevaluating every single day on this. And you need to expect that all these models are getting better here. So, incremental improvements on benchmarks should be ignored.
Yeah, unless you're looking for a model with a super long window, you want to really focus on context locally, and then you might want to take a look. But other than that, I think, yeah.
You mean for a brand new development?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next one, please, Ankash.
Okay, the next one comes from AWS, and it's a case study about how Iberdrola enhances IT operations using Amazon Bedrock agent code.
Yes, Ashish. It has lots of very complex diagrams. They seem to be very much trying to explain what they did. What did you think about this one?
It was interesting. I mean, this is, again, just about the case study. It's by Iberdrola, and they've been working with Agent Core and Amazon Bedrock to revamp their kind of change management, incident management workflow. I see it as a workflow automation solution. It's very detailed. It's built on top of ServiceNow. It has multi-agent orchestration pulled in. But I still feel they missed the mark on really underscoring the business value created. How did they measure it? Like, that quantification is super important, because again, transition of work, like traditional automation into agentic automation, is happening all across the world. How do you measure value? How do you measure that this is creating new kind of gains for the organization? I think those are super important to underscore. Otherwise, somebody who's looking for a reference architecture and how to kind of implement a similar scenario, it might be an interesting case study, I would say. So I would say.
Okay. Thank you. So, but optional, right, Ashish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Optional from Ashish. Ankash?
Optional for me as well, Luda. I think what they failed to do here was to explain what they are doing, right? It sort of looks more like a advertisement for all the different products under the agent core offering from Amazon, rather than a proper case study explaining what the problem was, how they approached it. So every line they are highlighting another new solution from AWS, and as Ashish rightly mentioned, it lacks the quantitative outcomes that they have been able to achieve through this. They give a roadmap, but that's not really useful if they are not sharing the quantitative outcomes here, or whether they were successful or not. So for that reason, optional for me as well.
Yeah, I was optional because I was reading it and wondering the complexity of the solution and how they orchestrated it. Was it even necessary, right? And without the metrics, the business metrics of what they have achieved, this complexity might be bearing on their performance, really, on the performance of the overall solution. So yeah, this was really half-cooked in my mind. John, what did you think?
I definitely thought this was optional. A lot of detail on process, and I agree it reads like a product catalog, and not a lot of anything about economics or organization or leadership. So definitely optional.
Okay, Paul, we're going optional.
Great.
Yes, optional it is. Let's proceed to the last one.
Okay, the last one comes from VentureBeat, and it talks about Google Chrome shipping WebMCP in early preview and turning every website into a structured tool for AI agents.
That's really cool because it's a going for a standard. So Google worked with Microsoft and together they came up with this, and it is in production. So Ankash, could you please tell us a little bit more in depth what it is about and how did you rate it?
Luda. So basically, what Google is doing here is they are providing a MCP tool for different agents to interact with the website. So right now, when we ask an agent to go to a website and get content for us, they either use DOM parsing or they use screenshot-based browsing, which wastes a lot of tokens and breaks if the UI changes. So certain set of pages where you have images and text is contained in those images. And when there's a UI change from one website to another, most of the agentic browsing that breaks. So what Google is pushing is they are giving us two APIs. So there's a declarative API for standard actions, which is in HTML forms, and then there's an imperative API, which is for JavaScript executions. And they are claiming that this will help agents retrieve information from websites in a more structured way. So basically helping agents browse these websites better. But there is a small break for humans that Google is providing here. So they are saying that this will not work for fully autonomous scenarios. There needs to be a human in the loop. So we haven't seen the implementation of it yet, how the human in the loop works and how we will be able to ask our agents to track web through this or browse web through this. But I think this is a good development coming from Google with their share of the search engine and now AI overviews and Gemini as well. I think if we have a particular MCP protocol which can act as a standard for agents to interact with these websites, I think it will be better for everyone because we are doing a lot of agentic shopping now. Agentic commerce is the next big thing. And just to do every kind of work, so OpenClaw with personal agents, you need these agents to do a lot of actions on websites for you. So if this works properly, I think this will be a big thing, but still to see it in execution mode. So for that reason, important. Otherwise, an important step in a good direction.
Okay. Important from Ankash. What did you think, John?
Yeah, I had this maybe as essential. This issue of how stuff's going to get robot readable through probably a combination of this set of protocols and the MCP servers inside. This issue of going from search engine to answer engine is so vital, and also making information available for agents in general, not just search engine, answer engine stuff. So, this is an architectural. I agree it's early, but look, here's a huge architectural direction. You got Google and Microsoft together on this thing. It's in the browser, which is major access. As I've been using my Claude cowork, there's so many times it's going and interrogating websites or internal pages and stuff through the browser. So I think this is essential for our AI leader to understand what's going down.
Yeah, I was essential as well. Ashish, what did you think?
Absolutely essential. I feel two of the largest kind of players in the browser space are coming together to define this, Microsoft and Google. Also, the web is built for humans, right? And being able to kind of keep it that way, but be able to also kind of make it accessible to agents is a huge development. And without them having to change the structure of the web, right? That's another kind of important point. And then the last thing is all of the computer use kind of way of browsing the web and looking at the web is very expensive. Essentially, models are taking screenshots, running it through a kind of image model to figure out like where what's the semantics of the page, where to click, and how to fill the form, and so on and so forth. So exposing all of that in a structured kind of API call is going to fundamentally change and accelerate the development and speed up the latency of all these actions. So computer use, not so much, but this absolutely is the right direction, I feel.
Yeah, I think people are agreeing with you. Vivek is saying absolutely essential. It will accelerate task execution. I agree. So what did you think about this, Paul?
1,000% essential for everything else we're saying. A few other reasons. One, this is very forwardable. So AI leaders need to forward this. AI leaders need to continue to show value coming out of their center of excellence or whatever they're calling their centralized group. That's one. Two, we have seen 40 to 50% drop in the click-through rate from Google. And as these websites learn to speak machine, it's a really important concept for organizations to understand. And we continue to find, I just continue to find executives don't understand that. That's why they value our AEO primer. and that people need to start planning. This article is talking about this all being kind of live in production in browsers by mid-year, 4 to 5 months from now. If you're a large company, it might take you 4 to 5 months to get the damn project up and moving to start taking advantage of this. So you need to start being aware of this category and obviously planning. So essential.
Okay, essential it is. As we prepare the scorecard, any announcements, Paul, John?
Yeah, we've got Ashish is going to be coming on March 2nd to our Learning Lab, which is at 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, US. And it's going to cover Claude Code and Open Claude demos. Is that right, Ashish? Did I get that right?
Yep.
Excellent. So yeah, this for those of you who haven't been following Open Claude thing, it's just on fire. So it'll be great to get Ashish's take. I know Paul's deep into it. I'm about to get in, and lot going on here. This is the agentic wave is happening even faster than I expected.
Okay, thank you. Paul, anything else?
On the Open Claude, I mean, I really now recommend the executives spend $800 and assign one employee at least 15 hours. So they buy a used laptop for $400 and spend $400 in tokens. They're physically comfortable that it's not on their thing to understand it, because this is even though it's unsecure, it'll help you understand what a agentic employee looks like and coming out of the box with some infrastructure. So I think it's really important there. The last thing is I'm just on a threadbare with all these vendors telling me they have AI in the products and supposed to make the product so good. I mean, if AI is somehow in the Slack product that make me find messages better in Slack, I can't find it. So this a notion that Salesforce and Workday and even Google for their email, we have AI and it's going to be really help you find emails and things like that is a marketing slogan that all our AI leaders really need to be aware of, because it's a lot of time being wasted in meetings and on individual productivity.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that fundamentally, to me, there's two things going on. One is that a lot of work is personal. A lot of knowledge work is personal. So having the design point being at Slack instead of from me out is a problem. And I think the second thing is that if you go back in the history of industrial capitalism, a lot of the big companies had labs, like when in steel and and consumer products and and telecommunications. They had labs inside because the technology underneath was changing so quickly. They had to understand that technology, and then we've gone through a period, at least in technology, where it's very stable. Only the suppliers really had labs. I think we have to go back to people having labs, because we're back. We got Frick and Carnegie fighting in the steel market, and what they know about the technology is material to their strategy.
Yep, it's very much integrated. All right, so for today we have one essential, two important, and the rest are optional. Thank you very much, Ashish, for joining. Thank you everyone for your opinions and insights, and Vivek and others for commenting. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.